Quinton Simon disappeared from inside his home. Police have named Leilani, his mother, as their main suspect. Meanwhile, police are searching for Quinton in a landfill. Leilani and her mother, Billie Jo, have been seen partying at a local bar. Reporter Room with Jessica Davies starts
Welcome
now.
to Reporter Room. My name is Jessica Davies and I'm an investigative journalist. Today we're going to be discussing Leilani and Billie Jo Howell in regards to the disappearance of Quinton Simon. So Leilani keeps changing her story, right? First, she tells the 911 operator that Quinton must have gotten out of the house and wandered away. Then she told her mom, Billie Jo Howell, that she can't remember what happened to Quinton. She has no memory of it, which is so convenient. Now we see family members coming out to blame Danny, Leilani's boyfriend. Now, do I think Danny could have had some kind of a role in what happened to Quinton? I don't know. But it's interesting that she's gone from Quinton has wandered away to she doesn't have any memory of it to now the family kind of implying that somehow Danny did this. Deflecting. We know that Danny got picked up from Billie Jo Howell's and Tommy Howell's house. What is up with this guy? Can he not drive? Does he not have a car? Why do his parents need to come and pick him up? But boy, he extricated himself away from this situation as fast as he could. I think he was in a no-win situation because if he had stayed, it would have seemed like he was somehow a co-conspirator. And if he leaves, he looks like he's running away. Everything I'm sharing with you today is my opinion, and opinions are not facts. So please don't send any negativity to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Let's be kind and good to each other. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a live stream or a new video, and let's get started. What was up with the Leilani Billie Jo outing to stingrays? I think this is really suspicious, and it gives me memories. For those of you who have been with Reporter Room for a while, you know that Brian Laundrie and Roberta and Chris Laundrie all took themselves camping, because when your fiance goes missing and you don't know what happened to her, allegedly, you all go camping together, right? But in my opinion, that was probably a planning session to get away from any possible police or FBI recordings, and we know that they were staking out the house and following Brian. So to get away from that, they all went camping so they could plan their next move. That's just my opinion. That's what I think. So is this what Leilani and Billie Jo did? Because as soon as they came back from this trip, all of a sudden, Michael, the stepbrother, stepping out on behalf of the family to throw Danny under the bus and back over him. So in my opinion, Billie Jo and Leilani may have been staying at the hotel near Stingrays, and it's called the Sandcastle Inn. It's only $65 a night. They stayed there so that they could do their planning session. And the big mistake that they made on theirs, whereas the Roberta and Chris Laundrie were a lot more stealth about it, right? They were a lot more secretive. But this, they got caught on video at the hotel and at the Stingrays. And they made so much drama and fuss at Stingrays. They were flirty, they were obnoxious, they were hitting on the waiter. It just doesn't sound like a grieving grandma and a grieving mom, does it? Even a bar worker remarked that it seemed like they were demanding attention, that instead of coming in and just having a few drinks and laying low and keeping quiet, they were seeking attention for themselves. They just couldn't help themselves. And now we have stepbrother Michael coming out to talk about Leilani. So let's talk about the stepbrother Michael. and what he has to say about this whole situation, because I think you guys are going to find it really interesting. And if you don't know anything about the Quinton case, you're definitely going to watch the video that I created and posted yesterday, because I go and do a deep dive into the Quinton Simon case for you guys. So now we have Billie Jo and Leilani, stepson Michael, stepping out to make Leilani's case. And according to Michael, he's saying that Danny bathed the 3 kids the night before Quinton went missing, or was reported missing, which was October 6th. Michael says that Danny was the one that put the 3 kids to bed. And Danny is the one who text messaged the babysitter to let her know that Leilani would be watching the kids. And according to Leilani, she just woke up and found that the kids were home and that Quinton was gone. I'm not buying this for 1 second. We have seen this game played before. They are trying to muddy the waters. Billie Jo ran to Facebook to tell us that Leilani had confessed, but she had no memory of it, right? She ran to Facebook to tell everybody that. And she was probably upset and emotional at the time. So who did Billie Jo hear this from? Because I've been assuming the whole time that she heard it from Leilani, right? But now I'm wondering, did she hear this from the FBI? Did Billie Jo get this from the FBI? And then she got together with Leilani and they decided, let's get the stories straight. Do I think that Danny could be an accessory after the fact? Well, I'm not going to rule him out. Law enforcement is telling us that Leilani is their one and only suspect. So if they thought Danny was involved in some way, wouldn't they tell us that? Or is it kind of what happened in the Chris Watts case, where we had Nicole Kessinger get what I believe, this is just my opinion, an immunity deal, right? We think she got an immunity deal because they thought they needed her testimony to help get Chris Watts for what he did to Shanann, Bella, Cece, and Nico. So is this a similar situation where law enforcement has been forced to make a deal with somebody who's, not all on the up and up, but maybe didn't have anything to do with it, but maybe could have been an accessory after the fact? Do they have to make a deal now with Danny to ensure that Leilani goes to jail for what she did? What do you guys think? We do have cases where there are false confessions. This stuff can happen. So did it happen in this case? And do you buy Billie Jo and her claim that Leilani had no memory of this? Or is this grandmother enabling Leilani? At first, I am going to be honest with you, I had sympathy and compassion for Billie Jo. I really did, because I thought, well, she's working full time, she's taking in her kids and her grandkids, and she obviously cares about her grandkids because she got custody. But the more I'm seeing about just the optics of her partying it up with Leilani, and the police searching through the landfill looking for Quinton, it's gut-wrenching. The optics are horrible, absolutely horrible. And in my opinion, I have lost sympathy for Billie Jo. I just don't have sympathy for her anymore. I didn't start out in that place, but that is where I am going very, very quickly. And then instead of removing Leilani from her house, which in my opinion, that's what I would do if I thought that my child did anything to my grandchild who was in my custody, who I was responsible for, who was in my care, I would absolutely be having her move out along with Danny. It was also claimed by Michael, the stepbrother, that Leilani was, upset that Quinton was gone. Really? Are you kidding me? That whole thing at Stingrays, there's nothing about that I can buy into. Leilani was so upset. No way. There's no way she was just so upset that she had to go party it, whoop it up, and have a great time at Stingrays. They ran up a $300 bar tab. $300. They were celebrating. They were celebrating because they came up with their plan of how they were going to shift this on to Danny, in my opinion. What do you guys think about Leilani? What do you think about Billie Jo? Do you think Billie Jo is a caring, loving grandmother who's just siding with her daughter because she doesn't know what else to do? Or do you think that they went to this hotel to have a planning session so they could pin all of this onto Danny? Subscribe.